स्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। हरि ओम जी। So, there is a person who is living a spiritual life, but living in his own house. Is not a sannyasi, but he is a brahmachari. He is called a Naishthika brahmachari, who lives in his own house with other members of the family, but he lives a spiritual life. The advice given by the Shruti is, it is better than to stay separate, or in the same house have a solitude. Yes, it has to be a solitude, because you have to have a solitary, a quiet corner within God's creation where you can think about the truth. You can discern between yourself and the rest. A quiet reflection, a peaceful reflection is possible only when you are living in a peaceful place. Therefore, whether you are living in a peaceful place in an ashram, you see, context is always, wherever you go, you have to live in a big context. Your own house is a big context. There are so many people, so many rooms. It's a big context. If you go and live in an ashram, it is a huge context. Aadhar to bahut bada hai, it's big. And if you live even in a mountain cave where there are other ashrams, it's a big context because there is interaction. People are there. You live in a village, it's a big context. If you live a little outside the village, villagers will come. The more if you live on the precincts, on the outskirts of a village or outskirts of a city, then you are more busy with people than living in the city. Because people want to have an outing. And if there is a Swami living on the outskirts, I tell you, have always everyday visitors coming, dakshina bhi chadayenge, chawal bhi layenge, ghee bhi layenge, baithenge, prasad bhi lenge. Unka manoranjan ho jata hai, Swami can be giving darshanam. Almost like Balaji. Balaji is always there sitting, giving Balaji, collecting dakshinas and giving darshanam. What I am saying is, in this world, the world by itself doesn't provide you solitude. There is no such a thing called solitude. I have to be judicious enough to create my own solitude. Solitude has to be manufactured. I have to create a solitude. There is no such a place called, like Delhi is a place, Bombay is a place, America is a place. Like that, solitude is not another place where you go and all nice. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. And I am the pramanam on that, I am telling you. I have seen all Himalayas. All Himalayas, कुछ नहीं है. Don't come under any illusion. There is no... God is a solitude. God's creation is noise. God is peace. God's creation is full of noise. Noise and distraction and jagada and whatnot. Therefore, don't search for a solitude. You have to find a solitude wherever you are. Therefore, this kuti charaha need not leave house and go, because wherever he goes, it's going to be worse. If you leave your house, nothing can be better than your own house if you are a thinking person. Nothing can be better than your own house. If you leave your house, then you are living in somebody else's house, somebody else's place. That's always not as good as your own house. Therefore, the best thing is create a solitary, quiet corner in your own context. Therefore, even though it is said that a kutichara, if we take sannyasa, that's a different matter, it can be parivra. Whenever we took sannyasa in the past, the tradition always mandated that you cannot stay at one place, you have to be parivrajika. The one who has a danda has a place, he can stay at one place, called matha. Either one is a dandi sannyasi, or one is a paramahamsa sannyasi. If he is a dandi sannyasi, then he can live at one place, called matha. But if a person is a paramam sannyasi, he is not supposed to stay at one place, he has to be moving. But these things can change. Only truth doesn't change, everything else can be changed. In the present days, where is samyak vichara is what leads to samyak jnana, not following a dictum, not following an ancient doctrine, not just following, maybe it's suited. These things, truth is relevant to all times, but these various other things can always be changed. Customs can always change. Customs can change, places can change, lifestyle can change. What is there? Therefore, leaving out this mantra, just talking to you, the best thing for an individual in the modern times to do is have a quiet corner in your own house where you are sitting. It's kind of a study room. So the study room can also be called a study room, come, reflect, contemplate, a spiritual room. You can sit there and be reflective. Reflective means there is something called reflection, seeing the difference between the subject and the whole creation. See, you are not synonymous with the form, no. Therefore, even though it is said, kuti charo brahmachari kutumbam visrajet, patram visrajet, pavitram visrajet, dandamscha laukika agninscha visrajet iti hovacha. It is also said in the ancient times a sannyasi is not supposed to cook. But a well-educated person, even if he cooks, what is the problem? Because just not cooking itself doesn't guarantee knowledge. So there are things, there are uninterpretable things and also there are interpretable things. In the ancient times, people were more than ready to give bhiksha to the sannyasis. But now, they are less than ready. Therefore, the times have changed, and the wisdom tells, with the changed times, manage yourself. Manage yourself. Therefore, manage yourself as comfortable as possible, but think correctly. Think correctly. And in 24 hours, there are many hours which are quiet, silent. These days, one advantage to all the Vedantis is people get up very late. Bada advantage. You can always get up in the morning. You have almost 4 or 5 hours, quiet hours. Suppose you get up even at 6 o'clock. I am giving you a huge concession. Even if we get up at 6 o'clock, till 12 o'clock, there is no noise. It is only after the children come back from school, 1, 2, then. What I am saying is, please, use your genius to tap the tranquility, whatever available in God's creation. Create tranquility. And the tranquility is not outside, it is only within. And therefore, adapt yourself to the changing situations and understand the truth. And if somebody, you don't have to worry about the ancient mandates now. Mandates are different from unfoldment. Mandates can change. If I can get the same benefit sitting at home, the same benefit as wandering monk, then I can stay at home. If I can get the same benefit, if I can sit at home and reflect, then I am doing the same thing as I am supposed to be doing as a Parivrajika. And therefore, these things can be changed. These things can be adjusted. This is over. Therefore, you don't have to rigidly follow the ancient customs now. Then you will get into another trouble. I must die only in India. See, you are living all the time in America. And you have one action. I must go and die in India. And then he says, no, then there are all the bhaktas get together. It's stupid. And he dies in America. This is हमारा गुरुजी का इच्छा था कि भारत में शरीर छोड़ना है कम से कम. He could not leave the sharira in Bharat. At least we will take it and leave it there. What a problem. What is God's creation? What is America? What is India? Just worry. What is great about it? Oh, I must lie only in Kashi. Not that you will go to heaven. Its import is different. Die with spiritual sanskaras. Bas itna hi hai. It's not the place that you carry after death. It is the sanskaras. What does it matter, Ji? Okay. Therefore, don't get bogged down by all these doctrines. They're good. You capture their import, bus, that's all. The import is useful. The form can be changed. Form can be changed. The import is a value. I must die with spiritual sanskaras is the import. I must die in Banaras is a form. Tatparya means even if you are living in Banaras and then you are only thinking of politics, to fayda kya hoga? Okay, I think I have conveyed. Think about it. Ata urdhvam amantravat acharet. And then slowly as one proceeds further in understanding the truth, there is a natural aptitude to look at yourself. There is a natural pull towards seeing the difference between the great subject and the body and the rest. Body is objectified, one's existence is. The subject is. The subject is not in front of one's mental thought. Don't convert the subject, your existence as an object of thought. I'm giving, something, just, it's not exactly like that, but if it can help you. The wave feels the sapidity of its being. Sapidity is the quality of water. The cool sapidity of water. Does it objectify it or is it its being? It's a being. Is it experiencing the sapidity or objectifying it? Wave can objectify other waves, forms. As a wave, as a form, I can objectify other form. But the sapidity that it feels about itself, is it objectified? Is it not sapidity an experience that it has? Is it, does wave exist minus the experience of sapidity? Similarly, an individual, can he exist minus the experience of the peaceful subject? Can an individual exist? Therefore, to be conscious and to be is his experience. Effortless being is as much an experience of an individual as even sapidity is an effortless experience of a wave, if it helps dwell on that. Somehow or other, grasp the being, the subject. And other urdhvam, as one goes on understanding in time, amantravad, don't get obsessed with the mantrocharan, repetition of japa, because that is also a distraction. You have to take to mantra japa only when you cannot reflect. When you are not available for the first best, then you look for the second best. That is not third best. Have a series of bests. Have a series of bests. But always go for the first best. Yeah, that is managing oneself, I am telling you. Have a list of bests. Have a list of good things in life. This is the first best. To sit and वो काम मन नहीं लग रहा है. Don't go run here and there. Keep japa. Just keep prayer. Pray Bhagavan. As if you are talking. उधर भी मन नहीं लगता है. All right, go for a little walk, which is also spiritual. Or recite, just look into the book and look at the creation. That is also kind of a... I'm not living in India, I'm living in creation. The creation. Can we divide the nations? I mean, along with the space. This is one chunk of the creation. This is another chunk of the creation. These boundaries, the artificiality of boundaries. To understand the artificiality of the boundaries, to understand the artificiality of boundaries, you don't require religious conferences. While walking in your Lodi garden, you can understand it. ऐसे बैठे बैठे समझ सकते हैं artificial. Why? Because you cannot cut the creation into pieces. You can't cut the creation into pieces. Therefore, If a person says, I must do mantra japa, I say, when the first best you are not available for the first best, then second best. If that is also not available, go to a temple or some nice place of worship and sit down there. That is also not available, just to do. Make some nice cup of coffee and sit down and drink. This coffee comes under the fourth best. Yes. Still you are restful, you see. There is no boredom. Supposing you don't carry, if you don't have a list of bests in life, then what happens? Then you will start wondering what to do. There should not be an opportunity for you to ask a question, now what shall I do? That's a crisis. Have a list of bests. And the first best is Atma Anatma Viveka, Ram said. And second best, prayer. Like this you make your own bests. There also you don't have to ask me, Swamiji, please give me a list of bests. For me, Atma Anatma Viveka is the first best, and that is the second best, that is the third best, that is the fourth best, that is the fifth best, that is the 1000th best, as far as I am concerned. Because nothing else is not great, interesting. But prayer is great. Anyway, Ji, I hope I have conveyed this point. Ataha urdhvam amantravadacharet urdhvagamanam visrijet. Very beautiful. Urdhvagamanam visrijet. I must do tarakki in creation. These thoughts renounce. Urdhvagamanam. I must improve my lot. I must go to heaven. I must become richer. I must go up the social scale, social ladder. I must go up the ladder in the society. I must move from India to America. Aage chalna chahiye. Man's always thinking is, aage chalna hai. But nahi. Tarakki, you understand tarakki? Tarakki karna hai. Ye tarakki thinking, leave it. Because even if you do tarakki, even if you go to heaven, tarakki is always again you will make a U-turn. You can't go on doing tarakki then. That thinking is bad. Tarakki is good, but I can't live for it. If tarakki comes my way, it is good. That's okay. I can use it for understanding the truth. I can use any Lakshmi to understand Vishnu. But to live only for tarakki. When I look for the external tarakki, then internal tarakki is gone. You see, you keep doing your duty and the external tarakki, if it comes your way, it is fine. Urdhvagamanam visrijet. This is nice, it conforms to common sense, yes. Then Swamiji, how will we improve? I say, I am not talking to the society, I am telling you, this is a message to a student of truth. This is not a message to the whole society. No. Therefore, there is an adhikari for him it is. Because the message that is meant for the whole society doesn't apply to a student of truth. And the Upadesha for a student of truth doesn't apply to the whole society, no. It doesn't work. Urdhvagamanam visrijet, if you tell the society in a conference, tarakki ko chhod do, then they will send you to urdhvagamanam. You will have urdhvagamanam. Chale jayenge. That's very risky. Therefore, it is always better not to say anything in conferences. Because we as the students of truth will always say the wrong thing there. Ah, yes. Yes. We will say, kya karna hai sari? Then they will say, what? What? Kya karna? So this is what exactly I told once in Coimbatore. I said, kya karna hai sab? Why do you want to get together and create all problems? Apna apna jeevan ji lo jao bas. And they said, oh my God, he is talking like this. इनसे करना क्या आप लोग तो सब छोड़ दिया जब माता पिता का छोड़ दिया ये सब क्या है आई मीन इट्स नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड क्या करना whatever comes your way just survive and then think of the truth teach Vedanta and go we don't have to put up a front to the government we'll all get together and then make a big we can have a body of sannyasis and then we can have our representatives and meet the Indian government and get our work done from the Indian government. ये क्या हम लोगों के लिए क्या करना है जी? ये तो भगवान का काम है, let him do it. और युवराज के सन्यासी लोगों के लिए सब क्या करना है? I casually said, क्या करना है ये सब छोड़ो, then they छोड़ दिया. That whole program just it went off. I said, I am not for this. I am not convinced of this stupid program. You see? Urdhvam amantravadacharet urdhvagamanam visrajet. Then he says, Trisandhyadau snanamacharet. And have in this tropical atmosphere, it is better to always have a shower. Have 3 times shower. It is not a religious ceremony, please. It is a need for just to keep you mentally fresh. Because a student of truth needs greater freshness of the mind than anybody else. Sluggishness doesn't pay. You can be sluggish and still have all kinds of play. You can be sluggish and have alcohol. You can be sluggish and enjoy any tamasic thing. You can be sluggish and enjoy any rajasic thing also. But you can't be sluggish and do vichar. Therefore, snanam is not, even though they convert it into a religious ritual, snanam is, like, in Shodashopachara, snanam is one of the things. Devata ko snan karana, etc. Similarly, when a person takes snana, it is a kind of it's an upachara. It is an upachara. But we don't have to look at it like that. I don't think so. I feel the best thing is, see, it suits vichara. We don't have to convert snanam into a ritual. We should enjoy it as connected to Atma Vichara. It is connected to Karma Kanda. It is also connected to, it is connected to Karma Kanda as something called, it is Achara. Snanam is a mandate for performing it. I have to do snanam to perform a ritual. That is, it is mandated there. Why can't I do without taking snanam? There is no Veda says so. Bas. There is a belief. Snanam is a belief there in the Karma Kanda. I don't think it is meant for a freshness and all. That is not the explanation. Snanam is an upachara there. Whereas in Vedanta, snanam is not a upachara. It helps you. It gives you mental freshness so that you can sit and take it. In fact, 3 hours after a nice head bath. Head bath means just putting water on the head is very refreshing, I am telling you. The most refreshing thing is to put water on the head. Head bath is so cooling and refreshing, especially in atmospheres like this. Don't do it in winter. But at least, koi baat nahi ji. At least. In winter one can have snana once, but in summer you can have 3 times. एक बार भी काफी है जी भगवान. Therefore, snanam. Now, I want you to understand, in Veda, for Vedantis, snanam is not an achara. Snanam is. From a doctor's point of view, it is necessary for health. From a Vedantist point of view, it keeps your mind fresh. For a Karmakandist point of view, it is a mandate. Are you able to follow what I am saying? From a Karmakanda's point of view, it is a mandate. From a doctor's point of view, it is for the health. For the Vedanti, to facilitate vichara. Yes. Then, Sandhau samadhau atmani acharet. And in every sandhi means, in the morning, noon and evening. Whenever you are free, that is sandhiji. Actually, in the ancient times, Trikala Sandhya. That is when the night meets the day, when the forenoon meets the afternoon, then the day meets the night. That is Prata Sandhya, Madhyana Sandhya, and the Sayam Sandhya. In this manner, you have 3 Sandhyas. That is called Sandhi. उस संधि में विचार करो. What should you do? Samadhau, in absolute serenity. Atmani acharet, be reflective. Samadhau atmani acharet means what? Think, do the vichara in the silent self of yours. In your own silent, in the tranquility, in the relative tranquility of your being, discover, discern between you and the rest. Acharet. Alright, what else should I do? Sarveshu Vedeshu Aranyakam Avartayet. In Veda, don't go about reciting unnecessary Karmakanda portions. Only Aranyakam. Aranyakam means Upanishads. Because all the Upanishads are there only in the Aranyaka part of Veda. Vedeshu Aranyakam Avartayet means what? Upanishadam Avartayet. Recite and study Upanishads. Upanishadam Avartayet. Indeed, recite Upanishad. Don't get having a flair for the multiple literature. What is this literature? They are just nothing but sounds. They don't convey that what do you do with all the literature which talks only about the creation. Maya ka literature. Even science is nothing but Maya. Yeah. The truth is not its topic, it keeps on speculating upon it. It talks about the laws within the Srishti, within the Maya. ठीक है जी. Because you can't do science, what do you do with the science except to earn bread? Ji? What do you do with that? Science people study science so that they can get a job and make some. Otherwise, it is a job-oriented education. It is not moksha-oriented. At least dharma is peace-oriented. Dharma is peace-oriented. The entire science is only job or bread-oriented, survival-oriented, sharir yatra-oriented. Whereas this thing called At least dharma is shanti oriented. What about Vedanta? Moksha oriented. Therefore, what should one recite? Only Upanishadam avartayet, Upanishadam avartayet iti. Thus, if you have listened to whatever is said carefully, you must have observed one thing. There is a ruthless disconnection, a ruthless break from all that is unconnected to Veda, connected to Atmanatma Viveka. Even though you have been a Karmakandi for ages, even though you have been a Grihastha for ages, even though you have been doing Arthakama, etc., even Dharma, etc., but there is a ruthless, there is an uncompromising break with all it, and then follow what is directly connected to which are anything that helps you. Edit your life in such a manner that you only live only those details which are directly connected to understanding the truth. Are you able to follow? You have to be your own editor. Supposing you take your life and tell a psychiatrist, please edit my life. वो पता नहीं क्या करे. वो पता नहीं. You better edit your life. Don't tell others to edit your life. Be your own guide. Be your own teacher. It will make you very happy. Don't depend upon the jokers around, because they're all jivas like you. They're all jivas. Just be your own, like Bhagavan Krishna says, be your own guide, be your own teacher. Be your own teacher. Yes, take the help from the Shabda Pramana, but guide yourself towards the Shabda Pramana. Yes. Ultimately, you have to persuade yourself to be correct. There is nobody else. I have to persuade myself to follow the right, to eat right food, to have disciplines, to study Vedanta, whatever is right in life, I have to persuade myself. If somebody else persuades, under somebody's persuasion, if I do the right, that somebody else's persuasion influence will last only for a day or two. Not only that, you don't enjoy yourself when you don't take charge of your existence. You should take charge of your own things. Vedanta is there to guide you, but you should guide yourself to be guided by Vedanta. You should guide yourself to be exposed to Vedanta. ये बहुत जरूरी है. This is what is called, now I am going to give you a technical thing. At the time of taking sannyasa, there is something called Viraja Homa. Viraja Homa is just, it is very difficult for an Indian Karmakandi. Karmakandi means Vaidika Karmakandi as well as Laukika Karmakandi. Just as a Vaidika Karmakandi can't break with Vedic Karmakanda, a Laukika Karmakandi also, जो काम करते आता है वो ऋषिकेश जाके भी काम ही ढूंढेंगे ना. The one who has been doing something here, उधर भी जाके वही करेंगे. If he has been selling Ayurveda, he will go there also and sell Ayurveda. If he has been a homeopathy wala, there also he will be do homeopathy wala. If he is a Jagadalu here, he will be a Jagadalu there. And if he has been doing some social service, वहाँ पर भी जाके इकट्ठा करेंगे, चलो थोड़ा काम करेंगे. वो कभी वो जाता नहीं है. It is not easy to be touched by the whole context in which we are. To be touched by this whole context called life. What is this? What is this me? You see, But during Viraja Homa, they brainwash you that you are liberated. Shastra liberates you from all the past. So you don't have to feel guilty. Viraja Homa brainwashes you. Viraja Homa mandates on you that you are not going to slip back into the past. Viraja Homa gives a mandate on you, it gives a mandate to you that you are not going to slip back into the past. You should always go ahead into vichara. That's called sannyasa. Because a sannyasi is not supposed to do karma. Vaidic karma or even laukika. Karma kanda doesn't mean only Vaidic karma, please. Kartrutvam does not mean Vaidic kartrutvam. Adhyasa creates Vaidic kartrutvam. That means those who don't know Veda, they don't have kartrutvam. Don't the blacks have kartrutvam? Don't Americans have kartrutvam? In India itself, so many people don't know anything about Veda. Do you mean to say they are all kartas? It is a very important thing to understand. Kartrutvam does not mean Vaidic kartrutvam. Karma kanda doesn't mean Vaidic karma kanda, religious karma kanda. Vaidic karma kanda means to be as a jiva. I always want to do and achieve and enjoy and live and get happiness. This is called karma kanda. I want to reach out, I want to create, I want to change, I want to do this, I want to accomplish this. This is called karma kanda. That's called ambition. Do you mean to say only Vaidikas have ambition, others don't have? Everybody has ambition. Indra also has ambition. Look at him, Joker. Indra, look at him. He has so many good girls around, the whole Bollywood there. And comes all the way to a sage's house. I always feel what a joker he is. A spiritual sannyasi, a rishi's wife he falls in love with. Therefore, Viraja Homa, that is why human beings somehow or other, they are receptive to brainwashing. Means what? The scripture has to say, now onwards you are liberated. आपको कोई ड्यूटी नहीं है, आप आगे चलो. हाँ, ठीक है. The sannyas, I have been given the sanction. That's kind of a religious. Like कहते हैं मैंने आपको आशीर्वाद दे दिया, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. And then he believes in course. It's called brainwashing. What else? What else is brainwashing? एक महात्मा, there used to be a very interesting kahani. But when I hear this, I hear with 1,000 years. People just hear and leave it, but for me it's very important. How wrong it is. How wrong it is. Some devotee's child fell sick. And their guru said, you don't have to take him to the doctor. My anugraha is there, he will be all right. There are people like that. And they didn't take him because they were so devoted to him, you see. And the guru said, you don't have to take anybody, And then the boy died. And they were so unhappy. Don't worry, he has come back to me. What is that? हमारे में लेन हो गया. What is all that? He brainwashed them. That's called brainwashing. If anything that goes against logic, and even if it is said by Bhagavan Krishna, it is wrong. It is wrong. The wrong is wrong. But even if it comes from the mouth of Ishvara, and Bhagavan is not that kind. He never says something. He would always say, take him to the doctor. वैद्य के ले जाओ, वैद्य के पास ले जाओ. वैद्य के पास नहीं गया फिर भी शरीर छोड़ दिया, then explain to him. Then we have the theory of prarabdha. And console them and comfort them. That should be the approach. So casually you say, don't take him. And so casually say, don't worry, he has come back to me when he dies. So casual. When I heard this, ये क्या बात है? ऐसे तो नहीं होना चाहिए. This is too wrong. People's faith will be gone. There is a crisis of faith in religion now. Because we, in the name of God, we cheat people. I'm telling you, we cheat people. People benefit from their faith. And the religious people destroy themselves. They get nothing except some money. But do you really progress? No. In fact, the householders, they benefit from their faith. हमको क्या लेना देना जी, जैसे करे वैसे भरे. They will be very nice. They are very happy. Because their faith is genuine. Whereas the exploiter of that faith gets nothing. The one who shows faith is noble. And the one who exploits that faith is asura. Anyway, coming back, Viraja Homa, there is something called the brainwashing, but even when Veda brainwashes, it does it constructively. Yes. I'm going to say something, just try to capture it. Veda doesn't believe in the theory of brainwashing. But Veda exploits human weakness of being ready to be brainwashed. And that sentiment it uses to help him forward. I have liberated you, you have done your duty, you have done your karma kanda, it is my mandate, now that you are taking sannyasa, don't look back. And he says, Veda says so, I should not look back. Even though he has got the weakness to look back, but he always remembers the Vedic mandate. You understand, Vedic mandate. You always think, it's a Vedic mandate, which is karma nahi chahiye. He follows that mandate. Okay, ji. Thus, if you have seen all this, it is not easy to break with the old customs. Very difficult. That I think maybe keeping all this in view, Bhagavan Krishna said, Sannyasastu Mahabaho Dukhamaptama Yogata. If you are not ready for reflection, he says in a quiet mood is different from vichara. Quietly living is anybody can live quietly. कहीं एकांत में थोड़ा भिक्षा ले लिया है. A person who is temperamentally quiet and आराम से जीते रहते हैं साल के बाद साल, the whole life. That does nothing. There are many grihasthas who live very quietly. Very, very quietly. Living a quiet life is not a life of vichara. When you do vichara, you may be quiet. Just because you are living a quiet life, it is not synonymous with vichara. Living a quiet life is easy. Living a life of vichara. Okay, ji? Next, we will begin. Khalu aham. Let us begin. Next paragraph, ji. Khalu aham brahma sutram. Khalu, indeed. Aham, the I, the being. When I say I, don't say I, the ego. It is I, the being. When the I, the being is taken for the form, then that I, the being looks I, the individual. Otherwise, I, the being, in which there is no thought of I and you and he and she and it. You see, I is not. I taken for the form becomes I, the individual. The same I, distinguished from the form, is not I the individual. It even transcends that word I. Yes. Like silence transcends the word silence. Clear? The silence transcends. Amazingly. The word, even Shanti, the word Shanti transcends the word Shanti. But the word, the tree can't transcend the word tree. It's an object of that word. Tall tree. That tree can't transcend that description of the tree. Tree can't transcend the description, the language used to describe the tree, because both of them are Gaudayakatvam. Abhidhana Vidhaya, Abhideya Bhava is there. This creation can't transcend the language which we use to describe it. Whereas tranquility transcends the word that we use for it. Yes. Because tranquility is neither a form, nor sound, nor taste, nor touch, nor smell, nor memory, nor thought. It is free from thought. Thus, don't go. Sometimes when you read some of the books written by so many people, I is always, mostly it is run down as ego, 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 ego. Please understand, it is not ego. There is no such a thing called ego. We are not an ego. We are a conscious being, the truth. Mistaken for a form, we look an individual. That individuality is ego, you can say. That individuality is ego. Not that the individual has ego. To stand an individual is ego. And if you have an expression that the individual has ego, that means vanity. You see? One is the I, the being. The other is I, the individual. And the third is I, the vanity. मैंने किया कि ये सब मेरे सब मैंने किया, ये सारी चंदा मैंने इकट्ठा किया, ये सब मैंने किया. इसको क्या कहते हैं? Vanity. I am the body, I the individuality. But essentially I is Brahman. That is why it is said, Aham Brahma Sutram. Sir, Aham is indeed Brahma, which is the Sutram that strings all the things together. Like water strings all the waves together, so to speak. Brahma Sutram. And also, it's very beautiful. Aham, Brahma Sutra means it is the anubhava of our existence that points to ourselves being Brahman. It is not that really the clue to the infinitude is the experience of our own existence. Atma is the Brahma Sutra. Because if minus the anubhava of our own existence, then where is Brahmaji? Supposing, the whole creation is within my experience, but my existence is not within my experience. It is a very absurd thing to say that. But supposing, everything is in our experience, but not our own being, then there is no clue to Brahman. Therefore, what is actually Sutram should be here taken as Suchayati. Suchayati means, points to. It is the I that points to. It is our existence that points to our actuality. Very, very beautifully. It is our own existence that points to its actuality. Reality points to its own actuality. Reality points to the falsity of the error. Therefore, there is nothing that can point to the truth in this world except Atma, one's own existence. Only our own existence is the Brahma Sutram. Because it is only the Avasthatraya Sakshi that needs to be understood as Brahman, nothing else. Khalu aham Brahma Sutram Suchanat Sutram. Here Suchanat Sutram. Suchanat Sutram. Why the Atma is called Brahma Sutram? Because Atma points to itself as Brahman. And the more of it will say later, no, Purnadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva, Vasishyate, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Hari Om, Hari Om. These are nice Upanishads, see? They call